The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We are joined by me, Mr. Clive, and my co-host, Ricky. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing well. Before we get started, I'd like to say happy birthday.
Okay, who's that for? Is that for your son?
Oh, no, for you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we are recording the episode this week a day early because tomorrow is Wednesday is my birthday, and I couldn't really be I couldn't really be bothered doing podcasting stuff on my birthday night. I was looking for some Netflix and chill, so there we go. But thank you for the well wishes.
You're welcome, but I assumed you would have got. When I said happy birthday, I was talking about you.
Eh?
When I said happy birthday, I assumed you would have realised I'm talking about you.
Aye, but I'd rather you didn't say anything.
Why?
Because I'm not one of those guys that says, it's my birthday, please like this tweet.
Oh, no, you don't need to. I'll do that for you tomorrow.
No.
Tonight.
So, we've had some more technical difficulties this week. This time it was actually Ricky's end. Ricky might not sound the way he normally does, but he's still got the great quality content, so don't be let down. It's still there, raw, gritty, and real, to the point, truthful.
It's annoying. Sitting using my fucking phone.
Takes you back to the old days when we were doing these podcasts.
It really does. It really does, when I would just sit on my phone and panic that I've not got enough battery.
Aye, but I've somehow got mine working this week, so we're going to plough ahead. No more shitty chit-chat from us. Well, that may actually still happen. We can't guarantee that it won't. But this week is another big weekend. For WWE, you have the newly sort of revamped Worlds Collide takeover kind of show that's on the Saturday night. People from NXT versus people from NXT UK, and what has turned out to be a rather tasty card. And then you have the Royal Rumble pay-per-view itself the following night. It is the favourite time of year for many. So I'm sure a lot of you will be looking forward to it very much. Before we start going through this, I want to get something off my chest first, Ricky.
Go right ahead, this is your podcast.
First of all, Humberto Carrillo, go away. Just get off my screen. Take your dimples and go. You're not welcome.
And your shitty haircut.
Aye, with your... it's as if the barber fell asleep when they were doing his sideys.
And your shitty wrestling. Just fuck off, basically.
Go away. I know that this whole thing with... there's been a lot of upheaval with regards to Seth Rollins winning tag team titles once again, on TV once again, with a random mid-carder once again, when you have the Authors of Pain in your very own stable. But just like the false prophet that he is, he likes to pretend he's helping others, but he's just looking out for himself. So that's my explanation for it. It's still a load of shite, though.
Yeah, you'd rather that was given to Authors of Pain.
I think that would have made more sense, but I can't complain too much because the bold Buddy Murphy has got some main roster gold. Love it.
True, but...
Aye, it still makes... it's pretty shit. But this last thing, there has begun this quiet moaning that's turned into a bit of an outrage perpetrated by Meltzer and the individual himself, that Matthew Jai Hardy has become badly treated on WWE. And it's laughable, because when you think about it, Matt Hardy is, I checked this morning, he is 45 years old. And
Wait, explain this to me, what happened?
Right, there's been a thing going on over the last few weeks. As far as I'm aware, Meltzer said that Matt Hardy wants out of his contract, or I don't know if Meltzer said Matt Hardy wants out of his contract, but there was speculation.
Wait, didn't Matt Hardy just resign?
I don't think so. What if it did today, then I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was like last week or so. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, continue.
Well, there was a rumour that started speculation that Matt Hardy will be the leader of the Dark Order over in All Elite Wrestling. And on TV, on Raw, he has been having lots of matches where he's lost. And this sort of culminated this week in a squash match defeat to Eric Rowan. So people are all up in arms about how Matt Hardy's been badly treated. Listen, you fans and Matt Hardy himself need to get a grip of yourself. Matt Hardy is 45. 45. He has been in WWE anyway, a mid-carder for his whole career, and I'm not going to count ECW World Champion as a main eventer. He has been a mid-carder, not even the tippy top of the mid-card. Tag team title reigns, sure, but he's just been a bit below, and the most relevant he ever was when Edge slept with his missus. Also,
I didn't realise this was a thing, but continue.
Yep, the guy is lucky he can even walk. So for him to have TV matches, losses or not, for him to still be in the zeitgeist of WWE, to be featured as regularly as he is, and for him to moan and tweet and bleat online, it could be character. You never know what's going on with these folk these days. But get a grip. Matt Hardy is a mid-carder for life, and he'll never be anything better than that. So, and he's out there waddling about with the same gear that he wore 20 years ago. It looks like a man-child, and it's quite embarrassing. So Matt Hardy, loved your career, you've done wonders for us all, but it's time you knew your role and shut your gub.
This has just come out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this.
Well, it had to be said.
Here's my 2 cents. Matt Hardy in Impact, broken Hardy gimmick was one of the best things we've seen creative-wise, I think, in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, perennial, like, all-time great, one half of one of the all-time great tag teams. Singles run, yeah, outside of the stuff in Impact, and like I say, he's a shitty ECW brand thing. He always has been a mid-card, always will be. Yeah, he's 45. I've always liked Matt Hardy. Like I say, is that broken gimmick, and when he came to WWE, I was like, it could go to another level, the gimmick. It never did, because obviously I never really got the rights to it, and so it was never really the same.
And
I suppose, looking back on it, never was going to be as good as the stuff in Impact, because it was all him, and he didn't have a team of writers and this person to report to, and this, that, and that person all trying to get their 2 cents in.
Mm-hmm.
But the notion that I've just had a quick check on Twitter now, just take Matt Hardy contract, and people are saying Matt Hardy's definitely going, here he is out here jobbing. How the fuck is Matt Hardy jobbing? Like, let's not act like this is it's like a second coming or reincarnation of Bret Hart or anything like that. Like, just settle down with that fucking nonsense. Could they have been used better? Absolutely, but so could like 90% of the guys in WWE.
And it's something they need to swallow and get on with it.
And the notion he's probably going to go AEW, perhaps.
Well, good. Take him. You're more than welcome to him.
Ex-WWE guys.
Exactly.
Isn't that what Chris Jericho told us? Again, you're full of shit. Everything, 90% of the stuff that happens in wrestling or gets reported on is full of shit or lies or whatever. Matt Hardy going, couldn't care less. Was happy he came back. It came to nothing. But Matt Hardy going to AEW isn't going to suddenly make me more invested in that product that I'm already quite enjoying. So, who gives a fuck?
Yep. So that was my 2 cents on Matt Hardy. It's probably going to be one of these ones where he is breaking once again. And if that's the case, then I've been worked. But There are many people who are worked
Nah.
on his side, and it's like, fuck's sake, honestly.
Yeah, I think he will probably end up going to AEW, and in the sense that what he's able to bring creatively and behind the scenes and help people, it's going to be massive. But like, just watching out all of a sudden, everyone's dick starts to get harder. Oh, Matt Hardy's on AEW as if it's some major get, and it's like, boy's 45 years old, can't really go in the ring. Creatively, is going to be great. You know, so like, pour some cold water on you and put your dick away.
He's good at getting random stuff over. Version 1.0, the broken stuff.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I think
I think he would
creatively
be
he's
good.
going to be fucking
Aye.
great.
He has a very good.
That's
He's
the
got a
point
good,
of him going.
He's got a great mind for the business. So if he wants to do that, then you're more than welcome to fuck off and on you go.
Yeah. I think that's what I said. I think the asset and the benefit of him being there is like creatively and setting matches and character, etc., as opposed to what he's actually going to do inside the wrestling ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think everyone probably acknowledges that and realises that, but let's not build him up to be anything he's not, especially when it comes to in the ring. Him going to AEW is purely to kind of potentially bring to give the Dark Order a bit more to make it look like to make them look more legitimate, to help them get more over. So that's where it'll come into, not so much what he's going to do in the ring, because you know he's, like you said, he's 45 years old. So, but it will be the behind the scenes stuff that he'll really shine.
There's probably still stuff going on with Impact, legal rights over names of the broken gimmick and all that, because he didn't really say it
Probably.
in WWE, did
Exactly. No, it's something they couldn't really, like, you know. If we went full broken, you know, we would have saw every little caveat that came along with it, you know. So we didn't really see much. Yeah, we saw the compound and stuff, but we didn't see his wife involved, you know. So his father-in-law as well. We didn't really get to see that kind of stuff.
That's
Certainly,
right, I forgot about his father-in-law.
in the gimmick itself, it was just a real toned down version of what the Impact one was, and that could be a couple of things. It could be, like I say, too many cooks in the kitchen, or maybe we just couldn't go into it because of legal reasons.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, Matt Hardy, the wrestler, like, there's like a million guys in WWE that are far superior to him right now. But Matt Hardy, creatively, that's what AEW are really going to gain from.
aye. And if he does leave and he gets a thank you hamper, then make sure to not pass the champagne over to your brother when you're moving over.
Fuck's sake.
Right. Do you want me to see, since I've got the laptop on and you've got limited battery life, do you want me to go through the cards? I've got the screen up for Worlds Collide right now.
Yeah, go with Worlds Collide. I don't really want to dive into like match for match, if you know what I mean. Let's just have an overview of everything.
Well, I'll go through the card, right, as it reads backwards on Wikipedia. You've got Mia Yim versus Kaylee Ray in a singles match on the pre-show. You have DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommy Ciampa versus Mustache Mountain. That should be...
It was so good.
I know, and that's just going to be one of those work rate matches, but sometimes you've got to enjoy a wee work rate match. James
Boyd of One Nation Radio, folks, desperate for Gargano versus Tyler Bate. He's going to get a little snippet of it in this match.
He is. And what I'm more excited about, and I've kind of spoiled it for myself here because I didn't know this was the case, but do you want to know what the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight Championship is?
Yeah, I know it.
Angel Garza versus Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Travis Banks versus the one and only Jordan Devlin.
Oh,
I think Jordan...
He's so good.
He thoroughly deserves that. Travis Banks doesn't.
Travis Banks is fucking awful.
See, it's weird because he had a couple of decent matches in Full Sail.
But just think about what you just said, a couple of decent matches. decent.
There's just something
I'm
very...
not really into watching mediocre wrestling.
There's something very bland about him.
He's fucking awful.
Poor Travie, but Jordan Devlin, I can't really see a title change here, but Jordan Devlin squaring up with this mob, that should be fantastic.
I don't see any title change happening whatsoever.
No, I mean it's the only title match.
Two,
Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm.
Gonna be fucking excellent. I was there last year and it was a real good match at Blackpool. Dynamics are slightly different here because at that point Rhea Ripley was a full-on bitch of a heel. But yeah, it should be a good match. The match in between, squashed in between that, I think that's the one I'm really looking forward to.
Balor and Dragunov.
Yes. I'm really looking forward to that.
That should be a belter because Dragunov, he's a sort of just a cheeky wee favourite that everyone has on NXT UK. His match with Cesaro at the Cardiff Takeover was lovely.
Fantastic. And I remember watching that, and I remember us talking about it, and when he appeared I was like, oh really? And then by the end of the match, you're applauding. This is on the network.
Yep.
So I think that's another good thing, is if people haven't seen much of Dragunov, it'd be nice for you to actually to see him. I think, like I said, I think this will be a really, really good match. I think it probably could. I mean, the two tag team matches is just going to be fantastic.
Aye.
But I'm really looking forward to Finn Balor and Dragunov. I'm really looking forward to that.
Imperium versus Undisputed Era will be the glorious organised chaos that we know and love very much on this show. That should be excellent. As you said, it's kind of like an advert for people who are still a bit on the fence with regards to NXT UK. You've got Mustache. I mean, people know who Mustache Mountain are. They had a cracking mini tag team rivalry with Undisputed Era back in 2018, and
really good matches.
People know of Imperium because Walter's a big name, and Bartel and Eichner, and obviously Wolfie from Sanity. So there's already names there that they know. Kaylee Ray's made a bit of an impact in Full Sail recently with an excellent showing at War Games as well. Travis Banks.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Americans, from what certainly the ones we speak to and some of the stuff you see on Twitter and stuff, I think a lot of them are fans of Kaylee Ray.
I've not really heard many bad words said about her. No. Not bad words, just any...
Or criticism. Bad criticism, I think, critique. Yeah.
If anything, I know War Games, she was inconsequential in sort of helping her team, but she took some crazy bumps, and that goes a long way in putting other people over. And the match that they had at Blackpool there was excellent. She had a fantastic match with Tegan Knox on TV shortly after winning the title. So she's starting to get some eyes on her, I think. I think the two that are untested for anyone that haven't really ventured outside of Full Sail are Dragunov and Devlin.
I've got zero concern or worry about what Jordan Devlin can do in a wrestling ring.
Aye, and the Balor and Dragunov, that should be...
That's going to be hard.
Aye, it's going to be brutal, basically. Dragunov seems to have grown muscles on his shoulder blades recently.
Yep.
There's something going on with him that he may require testing for PEDs.
Oh, most definitely. He's jagging up.
I think maybe he's just dragging pure vodka straight into his eyes.
The thing, just to go back, and I know we keep talking about him, but to go back to Jordan Devlin, I think, I like, for instance, like we're talking about Kaylee Ray getting a little bit more exposure. We're talking about Dragunov getting a bit more exposure. Travis Banks to an extent as well, but Jordan Devlin doesn't need any more exposure. Everybody knows who Jordan Devlin is.
They have recently. He's been putting on a blinder the last few months.
I think for like the last 12 months, he just seems to have put on banger after banger.
The OTT stuff NXT helped UK, as well.
Yep, or OTT. Well, I think the entire card, with it being obviously two title matches, we don't expect any titles to change hands.
Aye.
But I'm still looking forward to all the other matches, even though the reality is it kind of mean nothing. But
Yep.
they'll still be very good wrestling matches.
I mean, as you say, it's unrealistic for any titles to change hands. So overall, it seems quite inconsequential, unless we're talking about bragging nights, which this has a feel of. It's kind of Survivor Series light with NXT versus NXT UK. So it's more of just a bit of fun, and I don't see any harm in that at all. Just a good night of some good wrestling.
I agree. I just kind of looking at the card again.
I would
The only title that I could possibly see changing hands would be the NXT Women's Championship, but that's slim to none.
Oh, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, actually, I've had to pick out the two I'm meaning. Yeah, it's a real good card.
It's tasty.
A really, really good card.
It's very tasty.
I genuinely think Finn Balor and Dragunov has a chance to be the match of the weekend.
That's big.
I think it does.
That's big talk. I agree. It's big talk though. Best singles match anyway.
Yeah, and I think, and maybe I'm about to give them a kind of backhanded compliment here, but I don't think they're going up against anything that's a bit like, oh, you know, like that match is going to blow it out of the water, if you know what I mean. The only one I could possibly think of could be Becky and Asuka. But even at that, I don't expect it to. I have my reasons why the men's Royal Rumble isn't going to live up to my usual expectations of a Rumble. And the women's Rumble last year was excellent, so I've got high hopes for that as well. But yeah, and like I say, it does sound like a backhanded compliment because I've just said it, like I don't think
there's not much competition for it.
Yes, but I still think on a normal weekend, even if this was on a normal takeover and a WrestleMania, whatever, or Royal Rumble or Survivor SummerSlam, I still think Finn Balor and Dragunov has a chance to really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it does excite me that a lot of people who may not have seen Ilya Dragunov, you know, could be pleasantly surprised here.
They're in for a treat.
I definitely think so.
So you mentioned there about the Royal Rumble matches that you're not too sure about, so we'll transition over to that and we'll keep the actual Rumble match till later on. And I know that we have a few more Twitter questions for us to discuss this week. Becky Lynch versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. What about this are you not feeling?
Becky?
Just Becky in general?
Like, she isn't where she once was in the ring, I don't think, right?
Oh, in the ring, I definitely agree there.
And that's what it is. Because I think Asuka, when you allow her to be, is still just every bit as good as any female wrestler in the world. You know, so I'm kind of expecting your normal Becky Lynch kind of brawl, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's my issue with it. It's not that I don't like Becky. I'm not a fan, but I don't like properly dislike her or anything. Yeah.
I like the story going into this one because Asuka is the itch that Becky Lynch cannot scratch, because you had the TLC match from two TLC pay-per-views ago. You had
last year's Royal Rumble,
and you had the TLC match again this year. Becky Lynch cannot deal with Asuka. Becky Lynch is not ready for Asuka. To paraphrase a certain catchphrase.
I just don't see anything but a Becky Lynch win here.
I know, but
last year I called it exactly the way it went. I said she would lose. I was surprised she tapped, and she would enter the Royal Rumble. I just don't see that happening again, and I don't see her losing the title just yet.
But she doesn't seem... I know she's saying all these things, but she doesn't ooze confidence. She oozes doubt.
Becky?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine, but like I said, I'd be surprised if Asuka gets a win here.
Probably. It's a bit up in the air because you've got the potential for two women in the Royal Rumble that are surprises, and those surprises could be Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. And both of them, if they were into the Rumble, would be strong contenders to win it. We know that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch have quite the history. I'm not sure I want to go down that road again, especially with
we're not getting both.
Eh?
We won't get both.
Right. Well, I would say out of the two of them, Shayna Baszler's the one that's more of a credible possibility. And I wouldn't be surprised if Shayna Baszler hit the ground running quickly on Raw or SmackDown.
Since we're talking about the Women's Royal Rumble, let's just transition right into that. Since we're talking about it, if Shayna does enter it, because my personal pick for the Rumble is Sasha.
Right.
I think Sasha wins it. But if Shayna's in it, I don't know how you can't go with Shayna. Because I think if Shayna isn't in it, you go with Sasha and we get Sasha Bayley at WrestleMania.
Well, see, when you think about it though, what better way to get instant heel heat than to put someone out of the ring who everyone loves in Sasha Banks?
Who are you talking about, Shayna, to do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. If Shayna's in the Rumble, Shayna has to win it in my mind.
If Sasha Banks puts in another Iron Woman performance like she did a couple of years ago, and she's doing very well, and Shayna Baszler comes down at that coveted number 27 spot, I know it's not exactly coveted for the women because they've only had two, but if Shayna came down at 27, came in, took out a few folk, and then just launched Sasha Banks over the rope within the minute of coming into the ring, she would be booed from the rafters all the way down.
Right, but...
So that means she's an instant heel, and she goes for...
What happens to Sasha?
She has a temper tantrum in the hotel and disappears.
Right, but what I'm saying is, are you implying that then Sasha uses that sympathy to get back over as a babyface, or she starts whining and bitching and moaning and continues being a heel?
Oh, I don't really know if I could handle seeing Sasha Banks as a babyface again.
Sasha's not a babyface. If they went that route, if they go the route of Bayley and Sasha cannot be the fucking babyface.
I know, but Bayley's such a cow just now, though.
She is, and maybe you like, I don't know, maybe you could potentially go with Sasha as a face going into WrestleMania, but then at the end of the match, maybe Bayley hugs her or something and Sasha turns on her. Like, I don't want to see babyface Sasha again. I want to see boss Sasha. I want to see bitch Sasha that was mouthing off at kids in NXT and stuff like that, and you know, in their faces. I saw babyface Sasha, and it works to an extent, but heel Sasha is just perfection.
Mm-hmm. It is. When she's in the mood.
Sorry, you go.
When she's in the mood.
And that's it. I think this is a perfect, like, yeah, look where you were this time last year. You lost to Ronda in a very good match. Then we put the tag titles on you and then ultimately done nothing, lost you for so long. This is what we think of you. We're going to have you win just, the third Women's Royal Rumble. So, and then you prop her up and you give her that confidence, because Sasha comes across as someone whose confidence can go up and down and just kind of need someone to reassure and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think they're all kind of like that. But yeah, I think you go Sasha. The only way you don't go Sasha is if Shayna's in there. Everyone else must lose. Shayna has to hit the ground running, in my mind.
Yeah, there are three. On you go.
Sorry,
you go.
The only way Shayna doesn't win it is if everyone in the Rumble kind of teams up and gangs on her and gets rid of her. But I would love, if Cena does come up, I'd love them to just go all out with it and just say, nah, let's just have her run through that entire Rumble and we get her versus Becky at WrestleMania, because you can still always ultimately transition from Sasha losing the Royal Rumble to ultimately still getting Sasha and Bayley about 5 years too late.
Well, how about this for some fantasy booking? What if Becky beats Asuka, but she comes down after that match, Baszler comes down after that match and destroys Becky, so Shayna then is in the Rumble afterwards and Becky comes down and launches her out, so she's eliminated from that due to Becky, so that starts the Becky Shayna rivalry without Shayna having to win the Rumble, and that leaves room for Sasha to win the Rumble and take on Bayley in a best friends colliding thing.
Perhaps, or you could also have Ronda come down after the Becky and Asuka match. Now, I have seen zero things with Ronda, and we're just reckless of speculating here.
Aye, that is just, but you're spot on. It is reckless speculation, which is that should be Meltzer's bio.
Want it? I know you say you don't want it, but ultimately it's still unfinished business.
I just thought the online stuff was embarrassing for both of them.
Yeah, that was.
And people were dissecting each tweet and saying they're better than them because like they fucking had a typo and stuff like that. It's like, oh, get a grip.
No, I know. It's funny because I kind of liken it to when people in a boxing match or MMA are talking shit on someone and then people are analysing it. It's like, oh my goodness, like he's putting him down and he's absolutely dragging him. It was like, that's fine. I don't care if you can beat me in a verbal battle, because when we get in the ring, I'm going to knock you the fuck out and I'll have the last laugh. So, but again, it's wrestling, so you need to kind of build it up and have people invested in it to a certain extent, because not everyone's like me. So I've always said I couldn't care less about the storyline as long as I get this great match. That I'm satisfied with that. I could still watch Becky and Ronda because, like I said, it's unfinished business.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my pick is Sasha to win it.
Okay. I'm trying to think because I've got the Twitter questions up here.
Well, Dan asked us, do we think there's going to be any NXT UK entrance in the Royal Rumble? And we kind of touched on it last week, but I'll give a couple for.
Can I give
before we're going on to the men later on?
Can I give a belated shout out to Dan Coffin on Twitter for purchasing the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show t-shirt, which is available on prowrestlingtees.net at the Social Suplex page. Dan, you are some man. Congratulations on your excellent choice in fashion.
Yep. Dan, you're a mark. And then again, we're marks for you as well. Any NXT UK talents do you see entering the Rumble, and which of these will have the best showing? For the women, I think, so I'm not including Toni Storm in it because she's kind of flip-flop between both shows, right?
Uh-huh.
And I know to a certain extent Kaylee Ree's done a little bit on NXT, but that was more so for Survivor Series, etc. I'm going Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. I
think Piper Niven's a very good shout for obvious aesthetic reasons. She's a big woman. She's going to be hard to put over the rope. So from the visual side of things, Vince likes all these. It takes a lot of people to throw people over the rope. So Piper Niven's a good shout, definitely.
Yeah, I can see a scenario where Kaylee Ray, and Piper Niven kind of square off, and one of them eliminates the other, and then we can maybe transition that into the storyline as well.
Oh, yes, please.
Having a NXT UK Women's Champ match later on a UK takeover potentially. So that's my two for the Women's Royal Rumble. I don't. Like I say, Toni Storm doesn't count in my eyes. I expect Toni Storm to be there. I just don't see any other NXT UK women being there.
Sorry, ladies.
But Yeah. And I know Rob also asked who gets this year's Diesel push in the Royal Rumble match. Well, I if you don't mind, we can apply that to both the women's and
Yes, please. Yep.
the men's. Now, I don't know where Nia Jax is in her recovery, so I don't even know if it's a possibility for her returning here. Who gets that? It could be Shayna if Shayna comes into Royal Rumble.
Early doors.
Yep. Nia Jax, and I don't think there's any other proper dominating woman. Like, Charlotte's dominating, right? But Charlotte, some people will still get her licks in at Charlotte, etc. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think Charlotte's a very good shout for winning.
So do I. Sasha makes much more sense.
She does. Sometimes
For
you
me.
need to go with what makes sense.
Yeah, and yeah, don't. Sometimes if something's staring you in the face, sometimes that's like the logical thing to do. Don't overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
If something seems obvious and right and feels right, just go with it.
At the
Don't doubt it.
at the time, Seth Rollins winning last year seemed like the best thing to do.
It did, and I still think it was. You know, like anyone can win the Royal Rumble, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can ultimately 2 months down the line make it look like the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about what takes place in those 8 to 10 weeks or so after it.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about it when Sam asked us, should we push the Rumble back? And our reply was possibly, but why not just book them better over the next 6-7 weeks? And it's the same here. Like, even fucking you can have when the men's Rumble potential on Sunday. Like, fucking you can have. I'm just trying to think of like an absolute random mid-card act or no one cares about. You know, and as long as you book them properly and elevate them over the next 10 weeks, it can make it look like the right decision.
See, this kind of ties in with one of Rance's questions. Shout out to Rance.
Rance, we're only answering one of your questions.
Well, a couple of them tie in together. I'm going to tie them in together, right? And sorry for stealing your question master seat for this one. You said the 2 questions that I've got out of the 3. What's more important, establishing the next generation in the Rumble or having a dominant winner everyone loves? And the other one was, with multiple Mania main events, is the Rumble even important anymore? If you look at the last few years, and I'm talking, 5-6 years, how many of the Rumble winners have actually won their match at WrestleMania?
It's funny. I Googled this the other week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I went on and looked at this and Googled. I think I was going to ask a question on one of the shows. I can't remember now. Or I was going to address. I can't remember. But it's like 66% of the last 15 years, the person that's won the Royal Rumble has went on to win the Rumble match at the title at WrestleMania.
And
so
how
what
many
you're
of them?
saying is one in every 3 years or so, or 1/3 of the people who have won the Royal Rumble don't actually win the match at WrestleMania.
And how many of them have main evented? The headline and show?
That's true. And did you say with multiple main events, is the Rumble even important anymore? Did you say that?
I did, yes.
So yes, it's without a doubt definitely important, because I understand where Vance is coming from, saying multiple WrestleMania main events. Completely understand that. I completely get that line of thinking. But in my mind, in reality, there's only one main event.
The last one.
2 closes a show as a main event.
Anything else is just
to me, it's
garbage.
Yeah, like, see these other people saying I'm the second main event, or I'm co-main event. You go on last, you're the main event.
Even when there's 2 nights of wrestling,
Because I think you want to be that person on a Sunday night.
Saturday night, unless it's a very rare exception, then you're not as big a deal as you were for the night afterwards.
Yeah, because I think if you look at the G1, for instance, what do we remember? Do we remember Okada standing over Ibushi on a Saturday, or do we remember Naito standing over Okada on a Sunday, or ultimately Kenta sitting on top of Naito on a Sunday?
Exactly.
We remember the Sunday.
I know. I personally remember the night before.
Oh, of course, that was a much better match, but that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a spot you want to be in my mind. And
yep.
I don't know, people spoke about, I know I'm talking about CM Punk now, but we were talking about, well, your main event, you wrestled The Undertaker. I get it. That's pretty fucking huge. But it's still not the main event.
I just think with the success rate that you mentioned there of wrestlers over the last 5-10 years or whatever winning, then their build is almost for naught. Because back in the day, these people, they would go on to win the big one. It was kind of written in stone that if you were winning the Royal Rumble, you were going on to great things.
And I'm pretty certain that was an exact stat, and that's what kind of surprised me. I was like, in my head, it just like, you win the Rumble, you automatically win the title at WrestleMania.
So I kind of laugh when people say, I can't believe this person won the Rumble only to not win it. It's commonplace in WWE.
It can happen. I mean, at the end of the day, like, Ibushi went through an absolute, went through the G1, hurt as well, faced some of the absolute best, ultimately win the title shot, and went on and didn't even get to the night 2. So it can happen. It's not that big a deal. It's nice to sometimes see that kind of being thrown in there, just so we don't always take it for a given.
Aye, that's true.
Sucks to be the person that ultimately decides, say, no, we're not going to go with you. But hey ho.
I think it's just one of the reasons why I've fallen out of love with the Royal Rumble. Aside from the whole you win by throwing someone over the top rope, which I've just grown to think is just a bit daft.
I love the Rumble.
I know people do, and I don't mean to shit on it as much as I do, but it's just, it's not been the launching platform. It's not been the launching pad for people.
But again, I think that comes back to bad booking.
Everything comes back to bad booking. Every single thing.
That's it. So whether something seems stupid and pointless, well, it's down to booking. And I know. So before we move on to other matches, since we're talking about Rumble in general, Rancy's other question. I don't know if you want to quickly address that, so we can knock Rancy's 3 out in a row.
Well, I have a very quick answer to that one.
Mine just no.
Yeah, Rance basically asked. Let me see, where is it?
I've got it here.
Okay.
With NXT becoming a third brand, is 30 still the correct number for the Rumble? Should it be moved to 40 permanently? Again, I understand where Rance is coming from completely. 40 is just too much for me.
I've never seen the 2011 Royal Rumble, but I've got no interest in watching that. I've not seen the 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That's just a slog. That's the aesthetics. There's always a lull in Royal Rumbles, and for that lull to be extended by 15 minutes? No, sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, Rance, but I would put it down to 20. Love you, Rance.
No, we do. So much time for him. So much time.
Right, what's next? Will we do another question, or will we move on to the next card?
Well, the other questions are all kind of related to the men's Royal Rumble now.
Right, well, we'll keep them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next card, there's a couple of, I'm not going to lie, see, a few months ago I'd said that I hadn't really been paying much attention to the main roster. That is still the case. I saw on Wikipedia that the Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt match has become a strap match. I have no idea why.
It was decided last week.
What was the reason for it being a strap match?
Your fucking guess is as good as mine, man. I fucking read the results. I barely keep up to what's happening on a weekly basis. NXT and NXT UK have got my attention, as well as AEW, as well as New Japan.
Raw is slowly but surely getting my attention, I have to say, with Seth Rollins' heel stable. Andrade Almas.
Aspects of Raw, yes.
Aspects, because there's something else that I will actually touch on later. That's just it's giving me heart problems.
Was it the Big Show?
I didn't even care about the Big Show. It was something else.
Daniel Bryan and the Fiend. Fiend's winning.
I wouldn't be so sure about that one.
I am. The red lighting still fucking annoys me so much.
They're still doing that? Jesus Christ, man.
See, and that really affects my enjoyment of the matches. Because I'm just constantly thinking, I can't fucking see anything.
It's not even that. I don't mind the red light as much as others. And I do enjoy storylines and what Bray Wyatt is doing with this whole thing with the Fiend and turning heels faces and vice versa. I applaud the storyline aspect of it, but I do need some good wrestling thrown in. I do need that. I don't want to watch shit for the sake of it being shit. And Bray Wyatt's wrestling it's pretty boring now. It didn't used to be like this.
Right. Favourite wrestler is who? Bray. I think the character doesn't allow for the matches to be great.
Well, that stifles it for me. That stifles my enjoyment.
I want it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have, in my mind, the character of like Bray, what he is now, and then go out and be like, let's go have 5-star classics. You're like, no, like you're now, what the story you're now telling us on the night is completely different what you've told us of these last 5-6 weeks or the last couple of months of who this guy is. This guy's a fucking killer.
Uh-huh.
And now he's going 25 minutes, 30 minutes in these absolute wrestling clinics, going tooth and nail with someone. It's like, no, we've been programmed to believe that Bray is an absolute dominant person and you can't keep him down. So the storyline coming into matches doesn't help the booking of a match, I don't think. Because otherwise, what you're probably going to get is your typical Brock Lesnar match. Brock dominates.
Yep.
Maybe someone starts fast and then Brock dominates from it off. The last 5 minutes to go, someone gets like 3-4 minutes offense and oh my goodness, he might win. Brock turns into an F5, 1, 2, 3, done.
It's a foregone conclusion with his matches just now. They've booked themselves into a corner by making the Fiend so strong, literally unkillable, that it's going to take something literally otherworldly to beat him. And
it's going to take Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. You laugh, but you also know there's an element of truth to that.
Oh, aye, of course. And I'm looking forward to drinking pint upon pint of smack tears when that happens and Roman Reigns wins.
I don't think you can. Roman may not win the title again for say another 4 or 5 years, and people still bitch about it. I think people just accept that people are going to moan when he ultimately does win the title. He's been nowhere near the title scene, for so long. So he's always going to transition back into it at some point.
And he vacated the world title as well.
Yes, exactly.
He is kind of owed a chance in the main event again.
And so, by the way, so is Kofi Kingston, but Kofi's out tossing pancakes and You know, hugging babies, etc. Fucking bullshit. You thought I was going to say the other thing, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm trying to...
Fucking ridiculous.
I know, it is, but Xavier Woods is injured.
No, but still, it should have been fucking dealt with a long time ago. We have a guy a damn rematch. Or, not having squash in like 5 seconds. Fucking terrible decision. Right, we're going way off topic here.
Or, he could win the Royal Rumble.
I fucking hope so. And then he challenges Brock and gets the title back. But, like I say, I'm a massive Bray Wyatt fan. I liked Bray Wyatt when he was Bray Wyatt as opposed to what he is now. Because, like I said, you've got to enjoy the matches, and it's just like we said, you book them that way, so dominant that the matches can't be anything other than that. And I know people are going to say, well, Bray was never great, and I understand where you're coming from.
I enjoyed his style.
But the matches aren't great because you need to book them that way now.
I mean, that shit with The Miz, that match, oh dear. I actually felt sorry for The Miz, genuinely.
It's difficult to watch his matches right now because
all the stories lead up to blow-offs in matches that you want to be barn burners.
Yep.
You don't want them to be odd and lumbering and stuttering and just...
And I think he can have a good match with Roman if that's what they go at WrestleMania.
They had great matches in 2015. Their matches were brilliant.
But it's a different Bray Wyatt this time,
See, the only thing that makes me think that it won't be Bray Wyatt is because Bray Wyatt has been turning everyone's moral alignment upside down. Nobody's turning Roman Reigns heel, which probably suggests that he'll win it.
Yeah. See where you're coming from, but
imagine it was that fucking cunt John Cena.
What, came back as a heel?
Oh, he came back and beat The Fiend.
It's funny you mention him. We're going to have a special episode with John Cena coming up.
Listen, I've got a bone to pick with you. I did not agree to any of this. This friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen, I was away visiting the in-laws for a special in-laws birthday for the weekend, so I was not much on sort of messenger groups and stuff like that. This guy has decided to do a special episode centering around the career of John Cena with some social suplex staff. And then he tells me this after the fact when it's all been booked up. I'm like, hold on. I'm not willing to listen to or talk about John Cena for an hour plus.
Yeah, Clive, if you don't know, Clive fucking hates John Cena. And the thing is, there's not been a date or anything set. It was thrown out there. I think it was specifically me. It was several people talking about it, but then me, Josh, and Simon were sort of going on a little bit more. And then we were talking about it, and I was like, do you know what? This actually sounds like an episode we might actually end up doing on Rick and Clive, just because we were kind of really getting into it. I think our hatred of Cena and the way he was booked, and I says it in the group, how he was booked back then, and just people can't be bothered with him, etc., kind of clouds our judgment, and we're like, well, wait, this guy actually did have like a couple of matches a year way back in the day, like, that were just fucking bangers.
Oh, that's a great ratio.
Well, I mean properly fucking great, like, match of a year type contenders. Like, some of your favourite wrestlers right now aren't producing match of a year contenders.
That's true.
So, I don't mean you, I just mean general. And it was just, I was like, we may end up doing this, and Josh goes, I'd love to do that actually. And then Simon was saying, like, do you know what, that actually sounds like a great idea. I would actually like to be involved as well. And I said, look, we can try and set this up. Now, I don't know when we can do it, but there's probably going to be a lull period between the Rumble and WrestleMania, so we'll see what happens if Clive's willing. Josh, if we don't do it, it's Clive's fault.
No, if you can do it when I'm not there.
I might need to get someone else in because I had an idea how we would approach it.
It's just, and let's save it for the podcast if I come on, because the guy, apparently said on an interview that he's done with wrestling, and I became erect at the thought of that.
No one's ever done with the wrestling as such. I suppose what he probably means like doing like proper matches and stuff. He'll still appear now and then and do a couple of spots and stuff. But anyway, that's for another day.
It's for another day. I don't want to talk about that man anymore.
Shall we move on?
Please.
Who we got next?
We've got Bailey
and Lacey Evans.
Yeah. I've not seen much of this again. I've not seen SmackDown in a good while. I have been drinking some more smart tears at the hatred Lacey Evans is getting for taking on the internet darlings and Bailey and Sasha Banks. I don't see this being a change. It's weird. I don't really see. There's got to be a title change in there somewhere, Ricky. You've got Bailey versus Lacey Evans, Becky Lynch versus Asuka, and Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's got to be one title change.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Lacey's getting better. Like she's got that gimmick, or certainly the actual background, where she can go with the heel that she was, or the babyface. Because at the end of the day, she was in the Marines, etc. She's a mum, etc., etc. And the fact that you can make someone with that kind of background a great babyface.
Mm-hmm.
She's not ready, and remember I said about Carmella a few years back. Like when you become the champion, you shouldn't still be learning. You should always be learning, but you shouldn't still be that green.
I know. I agree to an extent, but people are never going to be ready if they're languishing in the mid card for the rest of their entire career. That's
true, but at the end of the day, Lacey has been featured in title matches considerably in her short career thus far. Like she was immediately thrust in with Becky.
Speaking of thrust, I hope there's not any more camera angles as she enters matches. Remember that?
Yeah, it's a close up of her arse.
Was it her arse? Alright.
I fucking everything. I don't need to see that shit. Honestly. Got fucking 12.
No, you do, just not in the medium of wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not fucking 12-year-olds, but I'm going to,
You've got X-Hamster for that?
Exactly. If I want to watch porn, I'll go out and watch porn. For fuck's sake. When I watch wrestling, I want to see wrestling.
I used to say that to Barry constantly. Barry, a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
When they were doing all the Divas stuff and Bran Panties matches, I would just say, if I want to watch porn, I'll watch porn.
Exactly. Like, it's just...
That was just one of those freak occurrences. That was an eyebrow raiser.
Just got this good wrestling. But yeah, I expect Becky to retain. Bailey. It could be an alright match. I'm not exactly like the excitement levels aren't through the roof for this match.
No.
Yeah, but I'm happy to move on.
I'm actually quite excited to see Shorty G. Ah, shit! I just said it. I'm sorry.
That T-shirt they brought out was fucking horrendous.
I'm reading Wikipedia. It just fell out of my mouth. Chaddington Gableworth the fourth versus Sheamus. And I understand that this whole sizist thing is well overdone and it's shite, but you will agree with me, there is nothing more satisfying than when Sheamus Brogue kicks the living daylights out of someone who's smaller than him and kills them.
That's awesome, right?
It's beautiful.
But I also can't be arsed listening to the small jokes and the shorty stuff, and it's like, fuck's sake.
I know, it's playground stuff.
It really fucking is.
But I'm excited to see Sheamus back. I have to. I love Sheamus.
I also like Sheamus.
And I love Chad Gable. I like Chad Gable's wrestling style. But
hopefully they get about a good 10, 12 minutes or so for a good fun match.
we've got a late addition to the pay-per-view being Andrade and Almas versus the one and only prick.
See if this bastard wins this title, by the way.
Oh, that's a title match as well, that's right. No, it's been too... His return last night was too quick. It's not going to be that quick. He'll probably win it on Raw in a few weeks' time. In fact, he better not. I hope he adds Carrillo's scalp to his collection. I went out of my way to watch the ladder match this week between Almas and Mysterio. I wasn't overly... I was disappointed in it. A few of the big spots that they tried were botched and it just fell flat. That DDT through the ladder was a bit disgraceful though.
They don't need any kind of stupid stipulations in their matches.
It's weird because see, going into it you think, oh, this is going to be fantastic, but they don't. You're right, they don't actually need it.
They don't. They really don't. But yeah, fuck Humberto Carrillo.
Mm-hmm. Your cousin's better than you, Humberto. How does that make you feel?
Next match.
Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Oh, I look forward to that. We're not Corbin's biggest fans. Grown to appreciate what he does a bit more. But Falls Count Anywhere, it just implies it's going to be kind of carnage and you're going to be in through the crowds and potentially backstage and maybe outside, who knows.
And you're obviously going to get the Bloodline involved and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Yep. Couple of big spots, maybe, so... I was
very excited for the TLC match and it turned out to not be that great, so I'm tempered my expectations with this one, so I'm just going in like with no hype, no emotion, just seeing what happens. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think King Corbin has been hilarious, especially online with what he's been doing recently. To see Mr. Meltzer triggered was hilarious. So I don't hate him as much as I used to, put it that way. His matches themselves...
I've just got no time for that fucking online nonsense shite. It's all just fucking ridiculous to me.
The back and forth between wrestlers is cringeworthy. Like, this stuff that Sasha and Lacey and Bayley do is... Oh my god, man. No, that Bayley tweet she put out saying even your own daughter, you've raised your daughter wrong, or even your own daughter's booing you. I found that funny. Aye, it can be funny, but it's just... It brings out these stands that shouldn't be allowed a Twitter account.
Can't be bothered. But I'm looking forward to this match. I think it could be good. Just purely because, like I say, it's that element of, they will end up through the crowd and backstage and they could get a couple of wee brutal moments.
For the most part,
much better than just having a bog standard wrestling match. I don't really want to see that again.
For the most part, Roman Reigns in sort of hardcore gimmick matches is a fun watch for the most part.
Oh, definitely.
So I think it will be good.
And at least we're away from this fucking loser eats dog food nonsense.
On that, the dog food will be back this week. Telling you, they'll bring it back, and it'll be Roman Reigns will pour the dog food on Corbin.
Oh, probably. Fucking dog shite.
Dog shite bastard.
Fuck's sake. Dog shite over here means dog shit. Dog poo, folks. Final match. The Men's Royal Rumble.
I have a prediction.
Go on.
Now, I wouldn't say it's a very strong prediction because, as we have discussed on this very night here, booking someone to be a credible threat heading into WrestleMania sometimes has fallen flat recently.
Yep.
However, a certain wrestler has been made to be the laughing stock for months now, and a certain wrestler has continued a losing streak. A certain wrestler has never...
Wait, let me guess. Who the fuck are you talking about?
Well, have a guess, but a certain wrestler has never won a fucking pay-per-view match. My prediction, and you'll love this.
Wait. Oh, right, okay. I know where you're going.
Your Men's Royal Rumble winner for 2020 Could be
Drew
Rusev.
McIntyre. Oh, Rusev! I thought you were going with Drew.
Drew's been winning quite a lot recently, and he's been...
Has he won a pay-per-view match?
Well, if you count multi-tag ones, then yes.
Right. Rusev. That's fucking interesting. You know who's going to win it?
I thought you'd like that, by the way.
I did. I love that. I actually love that one.
It's just, it's been handled such a shitty card, arguably in real life with this whole shit that's going on, but definitely in storyline. He's been destroyed 3-0 now against Bobby Lashley in the many forms of matches. You're either going to get one or two things. Lashley will be thrown over the top rope by Rusev, or Rusev's going to win that fucking thing. Which means Liv Morgan will win the women's.
You know who's going to win it?
Who?
Cain Velasquez.
See, I swear to God, I swear to God.
That fucking better not happen.
You've just wished that. You've just talked that into existence. That
better not fucking happen. I think it will, and I'd be really, really surprised if it doesn't. Like, I'm still like, see when they announced Brock Lesnar as number one in the Royal Rumble, I was like, all right, okay, I can get behind this. But then James kind of dampened my spirits there on saying, you realise they're probably going to run some injury angle where he'll leave the match and then come back, just similar to what done Roman in 2016. I can see that happening. But at the same time, like, I expect Brock to start off dominant, so I'm not expecting big names at the start. And then eventually bigger names will come in, and then probably at some point we might get Roman facing off with Brock during it or whatever. But I think ultimately Cain Velasquez is going to come down, face off with Brock, beat him up, throw him over the rope, and he wins the Royal Rumble. I fucking hope that doesn't happen, but I expect that to happen. And if that happens, they have ruined my Monday afternoon.
I've actually fallen out with you tonight.
Listen, I'm contemplating cancelling my half day on Monday. my usual routine every single year for the Royal Rumble, I don't know why I do it, just purely for I've just always done it. I take a half day from work, I finish at 12 o'clock, I leave, I go get lunch by myself, and I watch the Royal Rumble for the next 4 or 5 hours before I go play football later on that night in Glasgow.
Like a good little
and
mark.
Going to ruin
it. You've ruined it for yourself. That's your fault.
So let's say Kane doesn't come back. Who wins? Yeah, I'd love it if it was somebody like Kevin Owens, but they're not going to do that.
I think, to answer Rob's question again, I had to have the Diesel push terminology explained to me because I didn't know exactly what that meant, but if they said the Kane push or the Roman Reigns push, I might have understood. But the Diesel push, that will go to Drew McIntyre this year.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not 100% confident that he will win it. He's been looking good recently. He's shown more of Drew Galloway than he has Drew McIntyre, as he has
good thing.
As he himself has said on Corey Graves' podcast. I don't think it will be him. A very outside bet, very outside, is Keith Lee.
That's really out there.
What I would like to see, it was mentioned on Grado's podcast. Mark Dallas was filling in for Grado this week, and they were chatting about what they'd like to see in the Rumble. And imagine Shane McMahon came in, and someone said for a laugh that he did a coast to coast, but just ended up like flying out of the ring. Well, imagine Shane McMahon came in, did a coast to coast, but he fucking Keith Lee.
I bet you that was Mark Dallas that said that.
No, it was a listener. A listener tweeted him. But imagine Shane McMahon did a coast to coast, and Keith Lee just tackled him, shoulder charged him midair.
Midair,
right over the ropes. Right on it.
You know, you know what I would like to see, actually? Now, I don't think you can possibly book it, but I wanted to see heel Seth and Roman main event WrestleMania. I know people want to say Roman main event again, but I quite like that.
I like it.
But I expect Cain Velasquez to win this.
You're a brutal man. I can't believe you've talked...
I'm just trying to be honest. And just to come back to Dan's question about NXT UK guys, I think Walter and Tyler Bate will be my 2 picks for that.
I think Walter's a definite. Like, he's already over there. They try and make the most of his time in the United States of America. So why not fling him in the Rumble, have a wee hoss off with Brock Lesnar and Keith Lee?
Yep.
So I think Walter's a good shout. Tyler Bate, possibly. But I would put money on Walter being in it.
Yep. Rob, what was your favourite funny Royal Rumble match moment? Mine was when Santino Marella was eliminated. And then as soon as he eliminated, he started saying, I wasn't ready.
Yes.
I found that shit hilarious.
There's 3 that I can think of off the top of my head that will remain with me for the rest of my days. R-Truth bringing out a ladder. What was the other one that I had in my mind there? When Elias was walking down the ring, singing a song, playing the guitar, and mid sort of monologue, he stomped on Heath Slater as he was walking down the ramp. I thought that was hilarious. And I can't believe this isn't your favourite, Ricky. Vince McMahon, double quad blowout, 05.
Oh, that's right. And then just sat there.
Aye.
What a tadger.
What a roaster.
Right. We've got 2 more questions.
Okay.
Keep the rich one for last.
Right.
Sir Sam asks, can we get a repeat of the start of a 2010 Rumble with Rollins giving a sermon on the Mount? That was the CM Punk Khali moment.
Yep, I think that's what he was referring to. If we're wrong, Sir Sam, give us a shout, but I have an answer ready-made for you, Ricky.
Go on.
I really hope not, because all that's going to do is Rollins doing a profit in the middle of a Royal Rumble match. That's just sowing the seeds for Rollins versus CM Punk at Mania, and I am not here for that. I'm not here for CM Punk's return. I'm not here for Edge's return. I'll be a very, genuinely, deeply conflicted individual, because if Edge's music hits, my mind will be blown. But at the same time, I think that guy had to stop wrestling in case you get paralysed. No amount of recuperation and rehabilitation will tell me he's in a good state to wrestle. I don't care if he takes spears or not. As for CM Punk, he's still a child. He still wants things his way. He still doesn't like it when things don't go his way or when he's ridiculed by The Miz. I don't want him anywhere near wrestling for WWE. The guy is partly responsible for the hate that Roman Reigns gets, so fuck him.
I think that would be intriguing. Or even if, as he's walking down the ramp, you have him giving some sort of sermon and preaching, etc. It would be quite cool. We just need to be careful, though, not to add too many people too quickly as well.
To the Rumble or the stable?
To the stable.
Take your time. Maybe form alliances mid-match would be quite interesting. Mm-hmm. And that's some more seeds for a couple of the Raws afterwards.
Exactly.
I think that would be quite good.
People looking over the Rollins in awe. Look at this guy. Do we follow him?
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting. I'm trying to think of any possible surprise returns or entrants or anything like that. I don't really know. The only one I can think of would be Cain Velasquez. Punk's not going to be there. Any surprise possible returns or entrants? This is just me thinking on the top of my head myself now. I don't think so.
It's not exactly a surprise, but I would be very pleasantly pleased if Keith Lee came in it for a while.
I think he will.
I think he's a star.
Yep. I expect Gargano or Ciampa to appear as well, if not maybe both.
What about a certain other belter that's not
Joe
been
Coffey?
on? Well, that's a possibility. I was thinking Velveteen Dream.
If it's not going to happen, but see if he turned up at the Royal Rumble, I would lose my fucking shit.
I know, I would start running about my room.
I'd walk back into work. On Tuesday, gather my staff together, and tell them, guys, remember when my friend went through that traumatic experience last weekend? He's recovered.
Aye, in a big bad way.
Yes.
Imagine he won it.
Let's put that out there. We need to, folks. Joe Coffey to win the Royal Rumble.
Yep. With Wolfgang and Mark Coffey coming down later on just to stand in the ring with him. Wolfgang spearing fuckers out of their boots.
Yep.
Just to help him.
Film.
Just
the
like
Gallus film.
Gallus boys on top.
That's it.
No, another one who I think's like a star in the making. Velveteen Dream. Now, he's been gone through the vast majority.
He's coming back shortly, I think.
This whole TV era, there's only been 1 or 2 weeks where he's been on the USA episodes of NXT, and he seems to have this back injury. It's been very, very quiet with him. Even him himself, like, it's all quiet. So, has he got anything left to do in NXT? Well, obviously there's the title, the main title, but it'd be quite good if he was on the Rumble. I would like that. I'd love to see him back.
I think the days of people coming up as much as it did are over.
Okay. I agree, but there's still room for 1 or 2 more.
1 or 2, not too many, but
I don't think you're going to see all the whole scale moves that you see after WrestleManias and SummerSlams and stuff.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely.
And you could argue that Velveteen Dream does have unfinished business, and with NXT being presented as like a genuine equal third brand, then
yep,
you might want to keep him.
Yep. Especially if that's the brand that goes up against AEW every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does, but if you truly believe that's a war or whatever, then why would you weaken it?
I just think he's money. I miss him terribly.
I think he's great.
Really miss him.
Right. Last question comes from Rich from One Nation Radio, right here on the network.
Check out Rich. He's dropping some songs left, right, and centre on social media at the moment. So head over to Rich's Twitter account and check out what's going on there.
My wife is actually playing a number of his songs in the car.
There you go.
I messaged him all day to let him know he was happy with that. Right, so Rich asks, why does WWE continue to shadow ban Daniel Bryan from being in the Rumble match? I have an answer to this, but I want to hear yours first. As soon as Rich said that, I knew my answer straight away.
Do you know, I actually wanted to say that to you.
Right.
No, okay. It's fine. You've asked me.
No, I wonder if we're going to say the same thing, but go.
Right, okay then, I'll go first. And I saw that and I thought, right, I'll look into it. I just wanted to do some research. I've got a couple of screens up on my phone. Rich, I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. Okay, the actual Rumble match itself, he's not been in a lot of. I'm looking back.
But that's what Rich is referring to, though. In the Rumble match.
Well, based on what we've been talking about tonight, would you want him in the Rumble match, considering the lacklustre build after the fact for many of the people who've won it?
That never factored into what my answer was going to be.
Personally,
will I give you my answer?
Hold on, right? No, I'll say my stuff first.
Right, there you go.
Personally, I've said it till I'm blue in the face. I'm not a big fan of the actual Royal Rumble match itself, so I don't care that he's not in it. The Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble, he had an Iron Man. Aye, that's right. Had an Iron Man performance in that. He was in it in 2011. He was in it in 2013 and he was in it in 2015. In 2012, he was in a world title match. In 2013, he was in it as well as tagging with a very popular Team Hell No. That was very popular back in the day. 2014, we know the story behind that one. For three whole years, he was ineligible for medical reasons, which we don't need to go over. Last year, he won it. He retained it in a WWE title. He retained the WWE title in a title match. And personally, the best run of Daniel Bryan's career. And he's got another title shot this year. And although I'm not a huge fan of the Royal Rumble matches, the matches out with the Royal Rumble, I think there's a bigger spotlight on them because they're very carefully selected, those matches, and there's always been a hidden gem now and again over the years. And I'm even looking at 2014 with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, which was a cracking wee match.
That was great.
So I think he's had a very good Royal Rumble pay-per-view history. Not so much the Royal Rumble itself, but that does not bother me at all in the grand scheme of things.
Right. So 14 he wasn't in it, right? 15 was
he was in it.
Philadelphia. 16 he wasn't in it, was he?
Aye, 16, 17 and 18 he was injured or retired. And all retired.
19 he was obviously
the
held
champ.
the title. Right. And we're assuming he won't be in it this Sunday either. So, out of going back to 2014, so that's what, 4 pay-per-views. He was in 2, and the other 2 he was in title matches. Correct?
There's been 6 Royal Rumble pay-per-views that he's been eligible to in wrestling.
And how many Rumble matches, has he been in out of those 6?
He's been in a solid 50% of them.
So 3.
And if you want to include the Greatest Royal Rumble, he's been in 4 out of 7.
It doesn't count.
That's true.
So 3 out of 6. And what was he doing the other ones again? So he's got Bray this Sunday. Who did he face last year again?
AJ Styles.
Right.
And he retained the world title in 2012 in a cage match, I believe, with Mark Henry and the Big Show. And in 2013 he was in the Rumble and he defended and retained the tag titles with Kane, not Velasquez.
When the hell was his match against CM Punk? Why did I think that was at Royal Rumble?
You could be right. I remember they had a match at Over the Limit or something like that.
Maybe it was Over the Limit. And
so it might not have been in a lot of Royal Rumble matches. 50% if we're
50%, right?
But he's been he's been in the spotlight on these nights.
Yep. Right. So look, he could easily be in a Royal Rumble match on Sunday, but the chances are he won't be. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 out of 6 he's not been in it. My answer, right, is simple. They do not want a repeat of Philadelphia.
That's it. That's the answer. We just
they don't want a repeat of. And what year was it again? Was it Ray that came out and everybody booed? And you're like, oh, it's fucking Rey Mysterio, but we're booing him because it wasn't Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Was that was the same year as Bray, wasn't it?
Yes,
sure it was.
The match with Bray.
Right. They don't want a repeat of that moment, and they don't want a repeat of the last 15 minutes of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see people booing throughout half or the final third of the Royal Rumble. So what they just simply do is keep him out of that match. There is zero reason why he shouldn't be involved in the Royal Rumble match on Sunday, and who knows, he may well be. He may well be. We don't know. Yeah, there was zero reason why he couldn't have come out in Rey Mysterio's spot. There, 2015 as well. I think it's simple as that. I just don't think they want the crowd to hijack it, and I think they realise no matter what Daniel Bryan is, face or heel, no matter what, people gravitate to him, people love him. I think they just are, I don't want to say terrified, but certainly conscious of having boos raining down on the winner or throughout the final 10-15 minutes of a match. And I just think they're just saying, do you know what? To avoid all of that, we just won't put you anywhere near this match.
Put it this way, to answer Rich, he might not have been in a lot of the Rumble matches, but the way things have panned out for some of these Royal Rumbles, especially after the fact, I think he does well to stay well clear of them. I don't think it harms him being off them.
See, I get where you're coming from, but I also think it's a fucking simple solution. I just keep saying it. It's not difficult to book someone strong and keep them relevant and keep them engaged with people. But I think, going back to Rich's question, I think bottom line is that they just don't want to deal with what they would perceive to be a headache. Right. So they just keep the man well away from the match.
The man? Oh, Becky's coming in as well?
Yeah. Like, that's what I think. And I think that's stupid. He should have won it that year when he was just ridiculously over. I would like to see him appear on Sunday, so I'm not going to say too much on Sunday's Royal Rumble match because he may not, but unlikely. I keep saying it, but I just don't think they want that headache. And that's what they look at it as, in my mind. I think they look at it as a headache, and they look at it with like the attitude that here we go again.
Damage control.
That's what I think it is, and I think that's pretty poor. Like, he's still perhaps the best wrestler in that company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he's not the best, like, he's certainly like in that top 3. Even post all these injuries. So, yeah, I think they're just saying it and saying, as you say, damage control and just not wanting to hear and deal with all those boos again.
Mm-hmm.
And people resisting whoever the winner may be. Because I think the Rey Mysterio one for me is the perfect example of that, because here you have one of the absolute very best wrestlers of all time, absolute beloved. Everybody loves Rey, and even he was getting booed. Doesn't matter who that 30th minute person was, they were getting booed because Daniel Bryan wasn't there. And I just think bottom line is they just don't want to deal with that, what they would perceive to be a headache and the bullshit reaction from the fans that they perceive as.
They're going to boo it anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not wanting to give them extra ammunition. So in their mind, they're like, well, we'll just try and move away from that, pretend that, like, well, look, he was a title match, so he can't be in the match kind of thing. I think it's nonsense. I think he should be in the Royal Rumble match. I think he should be a serious threat to win every single year. But, that's what I think.
Aye, but not when he's a champ, though.
Is.
Not when he's a champion.
Who's the number one entrant in the Royal Rumble Sunday?
Listen, Brock Lesnar can fuck off.
Right, but that straight away, you're saying not as a champion, but Brock Lesnar was a champion. Oh, and by the way, just 3 years ago, who was the number one entrant in Royal Rumble? The champion.
I would rather watch a singles title match at Royal Rumble than the Royal Rumble match. Simple as that.
Yeah, but I think that comes down to like preference over the match itself. You're not a fan of the match itself.
Aye, so I'd rather watch Daniel Bryan wrestle instead of sit and fucking lie down in the middle of the turnbuckle for half an hour.
But I think Daniel Bryan has a better chance of winning the Royal Rumble match than he does winning the match against Bray Wyatt.
That's true.
You got no fucking chance to beat Bray Wyatt on Sunday.
No.
And we've talking on Bray again, it just sucks because I love Bray so much. But yeah, bottom line, they just don't want to deal with what they perceive as to be a headache.
Probably.
Nonsense.
I think we could probably argue about this all night.
Yeah, I think we probably could, but like I says,
So
in the other Royal Rumbles shows, he's been booked. He's been in a good spot. Apart from the Bray Wyatt one, even though it was a great match, but the Royal Rumble match itself, like I said, I'd rather see him in that, because at least you think, well, here we go, he might actually win it.
And then he won't, and then you'll be raging.
So
you're in a lose-lose situation.
Is that though? Because I've got other favourites more so than Daniel Bryan, but I think a lot of people who are there won't be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I say. They probably convince themselves that we're not dealing with that bullshit all over again.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Yep.
Right, let's stop arguing, because we will be here all night.
I know, it's getting late. Let's get on with this quiz.
Is it quiz time?
It is.
Okay.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Right, Ricky's given us a Royal Rumble themed quiz for the week. I believe, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Hit me with your Royal Rumble quiz. I will do terribly with this one.
Whoa, what the fuck? There we go. I thought the notes just disappeared. Right, here we go. Question number 1. In 2015, who was eliminated first? The Big Show or Kane?
Big Show.
Wrong, they were both eliminated at the same time. Roman dumped them both out at the same time, remember?
That's not physically possible.
How? I watched the replay again and again and again, and it looks like they both touched down at the same time.
I mean, in terms of physical physics.
But they were both kind of hanging over the ropes, and Roman came in behind them, pushed him over. Remember, that was the year Roman went in Philadelphia?
Big Show's had such a dreadful Royal Rumble record.
Oh, I know. Terrible. Guy his size. Right. In the previous year, 2014, who were the final 2 participants in the Royal Rumble?
Reigns and Batista?
Correct. 1 of 2. You should get this one. Question number 3. Which city is this year's Royal Rumble taking place in?
Glasgow?
No, come on, be serious.
I've not got a clue.
For fuck's sake.
Why are you annoyed at me for not knowing an answer? You're supposed.
You'll be kicking yourself in a minute.
Right, Philadelphia.
Oh, Houston.
Oh, so it is.
Going to it.
Ray Cash is going to it.
He is. Carl's going to it as well, isn't it?
So he says.
That's well, he'll be on the podcast next week, folks.
Listen, you're worse than delivering false promises than Vince McMahon.
This is not a false promise. I promise you, he will be on the podcast next week.
Which podcast?
Our podcast.
You
This
fucking
podcast.
You liar.
I guarantee you, Rance. Question number 4. Has the Royal Rumble event ever taken place outside of the US and A?
There must be at least one Canadian Royal Rumble.
Is that your answer?
Yes.
Correct. Question number 5. Which decade did this take place in?
Oh, 90s.
80s. The first ever Royal Rumble.
That was going to be my next answer.
Right, question number 6. Name the wrestler who has been the runner-up the most times in the Royal Rumble match itself.
I'm going to say Roman Reigns.
Correct.
Quite proud of that answer.
Question number 7. I think you're going to get this based on what we spoke about earlier on. You mentioned it. Which entrant number has the most wins from it?
27.
Correct. As soon as you said that earlier on, the coveted 27 spot, I was like, fuck. Question number 8. We've done alright so far, actually.
Thanks.
Question number 8. Name the two people who have spent the most cumulative time in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, now that's a tough one. Austin? No, that can't. Jericho.
One so far.
I know someone else, blonde.
Stunning Steve Austin.
Right, Austin then.
Oh, take the piss. I'm not trying to influence you. Is that you going with Austin?
I want to say Christian for some reason. I'm going to say Christian.
Triple H.
Oh.
Triple H has about 4 hours and Jericho's like 5.5 or something like that. Question number 9. In 2005, Scotty Too Hotty was attacked by who on the ramp and thus couldn't enter the Royal Rumble?
Well, I thought it was The Undertaker in earlier 2002.
05.
I don't know the answer to that one then.
I will give you a clue.
Right.
He is still fallen to this day.
Oh, Mohammed Hassan.
Right, how many have you got so far? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 9 so far. Right, this one's a bit difficult, right, so I'll give you time. Name the 6 wrestlers who have won the Royal Rumble match on 2 occasions. There have been 6 of them.
Okay, give me a wee minute here.
Absolutely. I should just talk to the people so there's not dead air.
Do you want to do a couple of plugs, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't even know what the situation is with the plugs, to be honest. What network and stuff I'm doing. I'll leave that to you.
Right, give me a minute.
You take all the time you want.
I know, but I don't want too much dead air. Randy Orton.
That's one.
Just 2 times? Okay.
Yeah, we've only won it twice.
Only twice. Right.
Only twice.
Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Bautista.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Racist.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yes.
I know we're
Hulk.
not talking about
Sorry,
Tessa
Hulk.
Blanchard. We're talking about Hulk Hogan.
Yep. They're all, yep. A bitch. Folks, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees, where you can pick up your very own Ricky and Clive t-shirt. You can also purchase t-shirts from Keeping It Strong Style, One Nation Radio, and your very own Social Suplex tees. You can find us at Ricky and Clive on Twitter. You can check out the the Facebook page or group, the Wrestling Squared Circle. We sometimes post in there. Well, Clive does more than me. I don't say shit in there. Please hit the subscribe button. Download the episode on the podcast app of your choice. Head over to Social Suplex as well. We've got multiple different podcasts. We've got Keeping It Strong Style with Jeremy and Josh, aka the Tampa Stretching Crew. We have
that pops me every time.
Radio Rich and James. We have Grown Men Watch This Shit. We have Get in the Ring. And of course, you have us. Social Suplex. We have some columns, etc. as well on there. Clive, may or may not. I think you're going to have a column this week on Lords of Pain. I'll let you plug that on your own.
I will. I have a column dropping tomorrow, and it is to do with the current state of blank.
So
you'll have to go over to Lords of Pain.
His first column was 2 weeks ago. Brand extension. Fucking beautiful writing. Absolutely fantastic.
Well,
honestly, it really was. I'm not just saying that because you're a friend, but it was great.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
I think that's us. I've done all the plugging.
Right. So the next...
Now part of Red Circle as well, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Clive will div out some details on that.
Remember to press that donate button and give us all of your monthly wage, please. That would be greatly helped.
Every bit of it. And not because we want to look after our families or anything like that, because we've got wives and kids. No, we want to become podcasting house husbands. We want to sit about the house recording podcasts all day long. Give us your money.
Do something good with your money. Cancel your Fight TV subscription and give us that instead.
Exactly.
Funk. Right, I know Austin's won it 3 times, so it's not him. A total stab in the dark with Bray Wyatt. No, sorry, Bret Hart.
No. Right, so you're down to 2, right?
Right.
So I'll give you a couple of clues. So you're only allowed one more incorrect answer.
Okay.
One of these guys were the answer to one of the questions, one of the previous 9 questions.
Oh, Triple H.
Yep. And this guy was also mentioned earlier on the podcast, much to your pleasure.
John, you can't beat me, Cena.
Correct. 6 out of 10 is pretty good going.
Not too bad, considering my Rumble memories aren't great. Check out the undercard for Royal Rumble 2000. Stupendous. Check out the undercard for Royal Rumble 2000 and watch that again. Tremendous night. Tables match, Dudley's or Hardy's, street fight, Cactus Jack and Triple H. Check out 2016 with a cracking rematch between Charlotte and Becky, and a fantastic last man standing match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. Like an amazing last man standing match. Check out Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey from last year. Great match.
We obviously had that triple threat match, Brock, Seth and Cena.
Oh my god, that was John Cena's greatest night. And they didn't do much.
That was like, and that was in the midst of Seth just fucking being the absolute king of wrestling at that point, I think.
That was a wild, wild night.
It was a great night.
So there's some picks to watch matches that happened on Royal Rumble night, but not the actual event itself. Another really funny moment that I enjoyed from the Royal Rumble history, Rob, was when Cactus Jack came down, or Michael Foley himself, and eliminated both himself and Randy Orton out of the Rumble match. That was excellent. I've not got much else to say. My throat's going, as you can hear, so I'm going to have to call it quits, ladies and gentlemen, before my throat dies completely. As you listen to this, I will be eating some birthday cake. I'm not sure if the Americans are aware, but there is something called a caterpillar cake here in the UK, and it's a great birthday cake.
As
you know it well, Ricky.
Yes. The only one that's going to get it is probably a couple of the Murray will probably get what cake we're talking about.
Oh, the caterpillar cake is it's as traditional to Britain as it is Brexit.
Fucking Brexit. Oh, the zebra cake as to Rance.
I need to try a zebra cake. I need to try one. Right, my throat's gone, ladies and gents. Enjoy Worlds Collide and enjoy Royal Rumble. And hopefully for the 3rd week in a row, Ricky and I will be back to talk it all over with you next week. Good night.
And Carl.
Aye, and we'll all talk about John Cena with Simon and Joshua, and we'll all have a great time.
At some point.
Well, I'll tell you something, that night you will not see me. Ba ba da ba.
Jesus.
Night night.
Take care, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.